This is where the story really begins. No meandering shots, no build-up, just an on-the-ground legal standoff. A sergeant confronts the videographer, tensions spike over a boundary, and the atmosphere shifts from curious to combustible. Watch for the small gestures, a pointed finger, a firm step, that signal this is about to explode. This opening sets the rules of engagement for everything that follows.
Hello?
We don't mind you filming, but you need to be off.
Who are you guys? Sergeant.
Come on.
Okay.
Then walk then.
There was no need to get physical. Oh, I'm walking away. You can stop touching me now, because I'm walking away. You can stop touching me
Keep
now.
walking, then.
Sergeant 1096.
That's me.
I am walking away and you're still touching me.
You're not walking away though.
I am. Am I not walking? Is that not walking away?
Turn and face that way.
You're a fucking dickhead, mate. That's what you are.
Alright.
Fuck off. Tell me not to swear. I can swear over you if I want to. There's no need to fucking push me like that.
We've told you where the boundary is.
Yeah?
Get out.
And I'm walking back. Why the fuck are you pushing me like that for? You
Move
absolute
over there,
bellend.
Because of your attitude.
You're a
So
bellend.
move over there.
You're a
Get off
bellend.
the
Move
ramp.
over there, please.
You're a bellend.
For emergency vehicles, get off the ramp.
There's no yellow box here saying I can't block it. You're a bellend.
Move out the way.
I'm quite capable of moving out the way of vehicles by myself.
Move out the way.
When there's a vehicle coming, I will move out the way of the vehicle.
Vehicle coming. Move.
Yeah, it goes up left hand side, doesn't
Move
it?
out the way now.
We've told you where the boundary is.
Fucking come on then.
Don't act like a knob.
You're the one fucking pushing
there.
me.
Yes.
I know I'm on the
Told you.
pavement and I'm on here now and you
right.
still fucking
Stay
pushed
there
me.
then.
You still fucking pushed me.
Right. Don't come on.
You're a fucking bellend.
Okay, whatever you say.
Who's your inspector? What's your collar number there?
1096.
Yours?
95, right, you've
1995. I'm trying to read your collar number.
The officer arrives with a command. Go back over there. It's a short, sharp clash of authority versus refusal. The auditor calmly questions the legitimacy of the claimed boundary while the officer insists. You can feel the power dynamic tilting. This segment is all set up. Rules are being laid down and both sides are already planting their flags. Notice the tone change. Curiosity has turned into confrontation.
You're a fucking bellend, both you. Sergeant's my fucking ass. You wait till your inspector gets hold of this. Fucking dickhead. Yeah, what if I just come back on now? That's the sergeants of Peterborough. I'll walk away and they still fucking put hands on me. Absolute dickheads. So they're saying this is the boundary line apparently, despite the fact that their barriers are down there. You know, the level of de-escalation skills from two sergeants there was absolutely appalling. You would think that their training would be to a higher standard than that, but evidently it's not. Not bad, yourself?
Yeah, not bad. So are you officer, are you staff here? No, do you mind asking who you are? To identify myself as an officer, I'm in plain clothes today.
What's your collar number there?
1492, mate.
1492. You're based here, are you?
Yes, I am, mate. Yeah.
Cool.
So just so you know, because
Is that
obviously...
PC, DC, inspector?
I'm a normal PC.
PC,
so I've done
yeah.
a BC.
Everything boils over. What starts as a push becomes repeated. Physical contact, shouting drowns out reason. The auditor vocally objects, calling out the officers. The officers push back, literally, and the situation becomes unmistakably physical. This is the emotional core of the video. Raw, chaotic, and decisive. Pay attention to where the contact happens and the moment control slips away.
PC.
Cool.
That's my colleague there.
No worries.
Yeah, obviously I can see you recording. Are you auditing something like that?
Just taking some pictures and that. Is there an inspector on duty at the station today?
There'll be many inspectors inside.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I've just what I believe to be assaulted by two sergeants.
Okay.
So if you can get an inspector out, I'd love to report that to them. I'm happy to show them the footage.
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So,
But-
so the reason why.
At the minute, you're in police ground.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, again, I mean, there was nothing saying that it's private property, no unauthorised access or anything like that.
Of course,
You know.
Of course. Do you want? I'll talk plainly.
Yeah.
I won't
That's
muck
cool.
around. Okay. There are different people who audit and things like that.
Sure.
Sometimes people try and push buttons, right? So I'll just speak plainly.
Yeah,
and
that's
speak
cool, no worries.
open and honest. I get there's nothing there. Yeah, we've just got a simple barrier. There's no fencing there.
Yeah,
I do
yeah.
appreciate that. And let you know at the moment now, this is private property.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you can appreciate we do have to keep areas secure, and secure as can be. It's not very secure without a fence there, but that's
Well,
what I'm
exactly. I mean,
challenging,
there's a
yeah.
big old footpath
Absolutely.
coming out from the grass verge there.
In fairness, I'd say you probably do know this is private property because it is a police station. Okay?
I mean, everything in the UK is private property, though, really, isn't it? In reality.
well, in reality, yes, it's always owned by someone, the
Yeah.
Queen, the council, whatever, or individual.
Exactly.
After the physical clash, the auditor immediately shifts into damage control, anger, disbelief, and a demand for accountability. He labels the sergeant's conduct appalling, calling out their lack of de-escalation. This is the first reflective beat, a wounded but determined voice framing the incident as an abuse of power. The audience should feel the aftermath, the emotional and legal stakes being raised.
Anyway,
Uh,
I'm not a civil lawyer and all that, so I'm not
Sure.
going to get into that. Can't really have you around here, if don't mind, okay? It's nothing because there's not hiding anything, but ultimately it's a working yard. There are vehicles that will fly out here responding to immediate
sure.
things.
As soon as I hear blue light sirens, I'll be out of the way.
Yeah,
No,
but
there's no issue with
I
that.
can't have you here anyway because it is a
Okay.
secure area in the sense of the word, but albeit without offence. And I'm telling
Okay.
you that if I ask you to just go out there on the barrier, okay, there's a grass verge, if you walk up round there, you'll matter about saying you've been assaulted, yeah, you can report that and it will be looked into. If you've got video evidence, excellent.
Sure.
That's what I would say to anyone when I'm dealing with an incident. Video evidence is the best, alright? It's
Absolutely.
irrefutable.
Cool.
You're more than welcome to report that if you wish, okay? Best place to do it is go round to the front inquiry office, okay, and do it there. Is that okay?
Yeah, potentially. I might go around there at some point.
Okay.
In the meantime, I'm waiting at the moment, so I'm going to get every single vehicle, private, personal, whatever it is, coming in and out. And
That's
it's going to be
fine.
included on my footage.
But then if you could do that, could you do that from outside the private
I mean, to be
property?
fair, the sergeants actually said I was fine there. That's where they physically pushed me to. And even when I was on there, they continued to push me.
If you come, I'll show you. As far as I know, and again,
So the sergeants actually said that this sign here was the demarcation of the property, which clearly it's not, because it just says pedestrians use front entrance, that's exit.
yeah, no,
But-
that'll
but-
obviously be for notifying people.
A different tone enters the scene. A calmer officer steps in and tries to manage the fallout. The new PC listens, asks questions, and introduces the idea of practical next steps. This segment provides contrast. It shows how policing can pivot from force to procedure. Watch how professionalism tempers heat and how the auditor tests the new officer's seriousness about investigating the complaint.
People who want to come speak to us where to
Yeah,
go.
exactly.
right?
So there's no demarcation. That's not
I-
demarcation of your boundary.
What I was
is it?
going to say is normally I use the tree line. Okay, there is no physical line. There is no
Yeah.
like it's that imaginary line. There is going to be a line somewhere which denotes the property boundary.
Mm-hmm.
If the sergeant has said it here, I'm not going to argue. I would naturally say
Yeah.
I think the tree line forms a kind of a natural barrier. But then fine,
really,
if the sergeant
but-
says that,
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue.
But then the sergeant also saw me stood there on the very corner of the thing and said nothing either about me being there.
Okay.
He was literally watching me from the window for a good 5 minutes.
Do you know
being
the
stood there.
sergeant's name?
1096 and 1995 were their collar numbers.
Were they a response sergeant?
They came out of that building up there, whatever it is up there.
If you don't mind, if you just stay here with my colleague, I'm going to go and speak to the sergeant up there and make sure that that's correct, that he's told me where to,
Yeah.
like, he's told you to stand.
Yeah.
Yeah? Because, like I say, I normally use the tree line because it kind of makes a natural
Sure.
barrier. Do you know what I mean?
I do. I understand that it does
Yeah.
create a sort of natural barrier, but unless you have these to show me where the boundary is, and there's nothing to stop me accessing, there's nothing to say where your property starts and where it ends.
No,
so
but-
there's nowhere for you to realistically say
Well,
this is our property. You can't be stand
I
here. You
kind
can
of
only
disagree
stand
with
here.
you, but let's try and work together and be reasonable because
I mean,
at the end of the day,
yeah, you are being reasonable, and I do
Yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah.
But because of the behaviour of your sergeant, I'm not going to be reasonable with you, and I'm not saying I'm going to be rude to you. But in terms of negotiating where I can and cannot stand,
Right.
I'm not going to negotiate.
Now the argument becomes technical. Private versus public land. Where exactly is your boundary? The auditor presses for proof while the officer leans on operational necessity. The conversation is tense but cerebral. Less fists, more law. This is where the narrative's legal backbone is built. Small phrases like, "you can't physically move me," and "prove your boundary," become pivotal. The suspense here is legal. Who can substantiate their claim?
Negotiate that with you
Okay,
based on their behaviour.
I understand
not
that,
on
and I
yours,
understand
and I
your
want you to
reasoning.
understand that.
Then, so I'm upfront and clear with you, just so I am fair with you, okay? I'm going to go and clarify that, all right? And if they've said, you know, wherever, I will have to enforce a level of, like, if we say this is where the barrier is, I'll have to ask you to stand on the other side of that.
Okay, and if you force me to move physically to a place, I will check where your boundary is with the local council, and if you have moved me to a place that you have no right to move me physically, you will be liable for reprimand under that. I will be filing. They're already getting complaints at the IOPC. And until you're 100% sure where your boundary is, regardless of what your sergeant says, because unless they can prove where your boundary is, you can't move somebody physically.
And
you
that's
can't.
why I'm trying to be reasonable, okay?
If,
So
if
they
you
might
ca-
know.
if you,
Just let my colleague
And that,
double
like I
check
say,
and we'll
that,
come back.
yeah,
and
and
Yeah.
I totally get your point, all right, and that's why I'm going to go and do everything I can and try and check with them, okay? I get what you're saying there, and like I say, all I'm asking is to try and be reasonable, meet each other.
and again, and I'm saying it's not because of you, because you have been reasonable,
Okay.
but because of them, I'm not
Just
negotiating.
bear with me, all right?
I don't
okay?
negotiate with assholes.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm not
Like,
saying that to you about them.
At the end of the day, mate, as
But-
well. Again, I can't speak to them. I don't
Oh.
know. Like I say, the best way I reason it is, we get ourselves in every walk of life, all right?
Yeah, but you have a higher expectation with the police force. I mean, you guys
There-
deal
there
with
is an
very
expectation
vulnerable
for
members
men-
of the public,
No,
and
absolutely.
you shouldn't have
No,
the levels of that
absolutely,
assholeness in your
absolutely.
force.
However, and part of that is being professional, but also at the end of the day, we deal with a lot of things, okay?
The auditor escalates the legal line of attack. Mention of council maps and liability changes the tenor of the dispute. The officer's uncertainty becomes visible. They don't have an immediate, ironclad map to point to. This is a turning point. The power to physically move someone is being challenged with documentary proof. The audience should sense a procedural risk for the officers. The incident could shift from a he said she said into a formal complaint with consequences.
Okay, we have to deal with, and not often we are meeting people who don't want to listen to us, who don't want to deal with us, even if they're trying to be reasonable. And you don't know what they've dealt with. They might have dealt with a various.
But they don't know what I've dealt with either, and that's the thing. But then the way they come out to me, they came out to me and they asked me to move. I said, I'm just getting some shots of these vehicles. They watched me stand, they stood there, watched me get shots of the vehicles. Then they come down the stairs, and without further conversation, one sergeant literally just started pushing me. I started walking back. As soon as I start walking to where he wants me to walk, whether I'm walking backwards or forwards, the physical contact is no longer needed. I am moving. He continues to put hands on me and push me. He gets me to there, physically shoves me. The other sergeant gets hands on. Then I get to here, physically shoves me, tells me to move out the road. You have no jurisdiction to move me out the road. He tells me to move here, shoves me here. Once I'm on here, he continues to shove me. That's not acceptable.
I wasn't there.
No, you weren't.
I
But that's
wasn't there, so
but like I said, I'm not going to lie about it because it's all on
No,
camera.
that's- yeah. So
You
it's
know,
on
so there's no
video,
point.
right? But then at the end of the day, they do have powers, okay, and it's down to them to justify it. There is powers that the police have to move people out of roads and remove people from private property, as other people, civilians, can remove people from private property. I'll go and check with them. Okay, so give us 2 secs.
Oh dear. So what's your collar number, sorry?
879.
879, thank you. Just so I know who I've spoken to.
Yeah, it's no problem.
Like I said, it's nothing to do with you two because, you know, he has been
Yeah,
civil and been
well-
polite, but just the way that, you know, I understand trespassing, you have the right to use reasonable force.
Yeah.
Reasonable force.
You know, we have to just challenge if we
Yeah.
see someone who's not in police.
To be fair, I've seen, like, I've had...
Frustration resurfaces as the officer warns about wasting police time. The auditor refuses to back down, arguing rights and pressing for accountability. It's a classic escalation, administrative threat versus civil persistence. This segment crystallizes the stakes. The encounter could be framed as nuisance or as a legitimate complaint. Listen to the officer's phrasing. It reveals whether the priority is enforcement or resolution.
Probably about 20 vehicles coming in and out, people walking around to see me here. You're actually the first person other than the sergeants that have actually interacted with me.
What's your main reason for coming here today, anyway?
To take videos and footage and that,
Okay.
really.
Is that because
but-
do you like the police force?
Well, it's just
or-
what I do, it's just matters of public interest. You know,
Okay.
we're public pay for the force, and pay for the vehicles, the site, the staffing.
Yeah.
We like to come and have a look, really.
Okay, fair enough.
Like to show people what we pay for.
And who do you work for?
Pardon?
Who do you work for?
Independent.
Independent.
Yeah. Not the independent, I'm independent. Yeah. Don't want to be done for like libel or anything like that, saying I work for somebody I don't. But yeah, I mean, reasonable force is justifiable if they come to me and they got into come up to me like you guys have, and then you started putting your hand towards me and I refuse to move, then make contact. As soon as I start moving, that physical contact is no longer needed until I stop again.
Yeah.
And then to continue
Like
to push
we
me
weren't
and
there, so
shove
we
me.
don't know exactly what's happened, you
But,
know.
but no, it's not a subjective thing though. It's reasonable force is reasonable force. There's nothing reasonable. If somebody's walking away and walking to where you want them to walk, you don't need to push them and shove them. There's no need for that.
That's true.
There you go. Got that on camera. That's true.
Of course it's true. But like
There
I
you
said,
go.
we weren't there. We don't know what's
No.
gone on.
But it's funny because the PC pulls up, sees the sergeant's doing it, and does fuck all about it.
Right.
You know, I find that disgraceful as well. That other constables won't step in when they see their colleagues doing things that are over what they should be doing.
The closing scene is a tense standoff, neither side willing to concede, both testing limits of authority and legality. The auditor remains defiant, the officers grow short and procedural. It's a compact finale that leaves the viewer asking, what happens next? A formal complaint, a discipline process, or nothing at all? This ending leaves the door open for follow-up, and that uncertainty is exactly what keeps the story alive.